Days of Our Lives preview video for the week of December 8 to 12 reveals that there'll be 2 more hostages while Dr. Wilhelm Rolfe shocks Susan Banks and Jeremy Horton rages at Maggie Kyriakis. Duel's weekly promo begins with Kat Green and EJ DiMera in a close moment, which Days spoilers hint that Susan will walk in on. Susan will also notice Dr. Rolfe emerging from the DiMera tunnels later, so she'll question what in the tarnation he's doing at the mansion. Over with Abe Carver, he'll be alarmed when he hears Theo Carver land in some trouble over the phone. Paulina Price will quiz Abe afterward and console him when they realize Theo's been abducted. As for Theo, he'll awaken in the DiMera crypt and wonder what's going on. Days spoilers say Kristen DiMera, Tony DiMera, and Chad DiMera will have to break the news that Theo's a captive now too. However, yet another DiMera will be kidnapped before the week winds down. Duel's weekly preview video shows EJ unconscious and face down with a hood over his head, so he'll end up in the crypt eventually. Other Days spoilers say Jeremy will show off his sinister side during a tense discussion with Maggie. "I thought you had my back. It turns out you think the worst of me, just like everybody else," Jeremy says as he glares at Maggie in the preview clip. Maggie may suspect Jeremy had something to do with the creepy letters to Stephanie Johnson and this whole stalker situation. If Maggie accuses Jeremy, that'll give him a reason to lash out like this. Nevertheless, some twists and turns are brewing in the story of who's behind the threat to Stephanie and Alex Kyriakis. It looks like Wes Ramsey will be reprising his role as Owen Kent soon, so Stephanie's former kidnapper should fit in the drama somehow. Owen used to be obsessed with Stephanie, and has perhaps never gotten over that fixation. Days of Our Lives spoilers say Steve Johnson will seek updates on the stalker's identity and any other info regarding his plans, so stay tuned. CDL will have other great Days of Our Lives spoilers, news and updates, so make us your go-to source. The mystery of who is kidnapping the DiMeras on Days of Our Lives continues this week, with 2 more family members making their way to the crypt. But did this week's promo give it all away with one craftily concealed clue? Plus, Jeremy finds himself the odd man out even among his own family, and Susan spots Dr. Rolfe in the DiMera mansion. This week's promo opens with EJ and Kat leaning in for a kiss, but that's just a rehash of Friday's episode. As we already know, Kat drugs EJ. Heck, we knew that based on the big winter promo, which Days dropped last week. Kat's suspicious of her boss, given Chad has completely vanished from the face of the earth. But is EJ the kidnapper? Meanwhile, Paulina is vacuuming, and Chanel and Johnny's bundle of joy is screaming in the background. Of course he is! The baby needs sleep! Well, while she's vacuuming, Abe is on the phone with Theo when the line goes dead. Don't worry, he's not dead. He's just going to wish he were when he ends up in the DiMera crypt with the rest of his family. Back at the DiMera mansion, Susan is surprised to see Dr. Rolfe waltz out of the not-so-secret door that everyone in town basically knows about. So why does it still even exist? A concerning, obsessive fan letter to Stephanie sent up red flags for Alex, who turned to Steve for help, and they both realized Stephanie had a stalker. All eyes seemed to be on Jeremy because, well, he and Stephanie didn't exactly have the greatest end to their relationship. Coming up, Jeremy finds even his own family thinks the worst of him. Finally, another person joins the DiMera crypt party. Wait, is that EJ? It sure looks like it based on that suit. But hold on, has anyone else noticed the creepy circus music playing in the background of this promo? Did Days just drop a big hint that Peter Blake, who we know is returning, is the kidnapper? Because once upon a time, Jack and Jennifer were forced to hide out in a traveling circus from Peter, who had framed Jack for killing him, though he was very much alive and had jungle fever. Days of Our Lives spoilers and updates reveal the soap addressed a very important problem recently and worked it into the dialogue. We're talking about real versus real and obsessed fans. This week on the show, Stephanie Johnson received several obsessive fan letters that really disturbed Alex Kyriakis, who'd had obsessed fans of his own. You may have heard the term real versus real and wondered what is meant by it. In the episode that aired December 4th, Alex described it perfectly to Steve Johnson. Alex said that when he was acting and playing a character in the Soap in a Soap, Body and Soul, he had fans who wrote to him as his character. They couldn't tell the difference between the real person and the part that he played, and unfortunately for many actors, it's a real thing. Right now, the best example is the most maligned actor because of the part he plays. He isn't one from Days of Our Lives, but from the ABC soap General Hospital. Cameron Matheson is constantly the recipient of hateful social media posts, and he mentioned people have recognized him in the grocery store and pelted him with fruit, thinking he's evil Drew Kane. It's a well-known fact that obsessed fans can be dangerous, whether they're obsessed with the character or the actor. It looks like Days of Our Lives is beginning an obsessed fan storyline with Stephanie, and it may be her former stalker, Owen Kent. An interesting coincidence related to the aforementioned Cameron Matheson is Wes also played a hated villain on General Hospital, but Wes didn't get the heat over Peter August that Cameron does over Drew. Sometimes fans become obsessed with the character and can't tell the difference from the actor behind the character. Other times, they become obsessed with the actor. Actress Eva LaRue recently made a TV movie about her experience of a crazed fan who became her stalker, and the stalking went on for years. Since the show has not officially confirmed that Wes Ramsey will be reprising his old character Owen Kent, who stalked Stephanie before, it's possible he'll play a new character. But it appears he will be the one who's been writing the obsessive letters, since Steve involved a contact who analyzes handwriting, even though they couldn't identify the writer. And going by the way Steve grabs him, he looks to be the type of obsessed fan who becomes dangerous. There may also be a real versus real twist that has the obsessed fan in love with a character in the book who he believes is the author, namely Stephanie. Keep watching. This seems to be a story worth telling. Days of Our Lives spoilers for Monday, December 8th hint at some interesting moments as Salem kicks off another week. A couple's romantic night is interrupted, as another couple has cause for concern, and some hostages decide it's time to escape their situation. Find out what's set to unravel on Monday's show below. Days of Our Lives spoilers for Monday, December 8th reveal that Jada Hunter and Theo Carver's date will be interrupted. Who or what will cause this? It can't be EJ DiMera, as he'll get grilled by Kat Green. It really can't be anyone else in Theo's DiMera family, as they are all missing some too, so it'll be interesting to see who crashes the romance for Theo and Jada. Then again, maybe the date doesn't even start. Could Theo become the latest one to get kidnapped? After all, Paulina Price will comfort Theo's dad, Abe Carver, so maybe he goes missing? Speaking of the DiMera hostages, Chad DiMera, Dees, Kristen DiMera, Deets and Tony DiMera will talk about escape ideas. Can they come up with something that is plausible? Their lives literally depend on it. Who do you think is behind the kidnappings? Only time will tell. Read more. Days of Our Lives spoilers. Xander fires Brady and infuriates Maggie. Kyriakis feud takes nasty turn across town. Gabby Hernandez, along with Philip Kyriakis, will be concerned. Could this have to do with Xander Kyriakis and his reckless ways? Then again, maybe Gabby's worry stems from something Ariana Ari Horton is up to, and Philip is just trying to be a supportive boyfriend. Either way, fans will have to tune in to find out. What storyline are you most looking forward to during Monday's show? Share your thoughts. Watch the Peacock Soap daily, and check out SOS often for the best Days of Our Lives updates, spoilers, and news. A surprise kiss could change the dynamic between two characters, while a father suspects his son has gone missing, according to Days of Our Lives spoilers. Meanwhile, a cryptic entrance and a betrayal catch two Salemites off guard, and the list of disappearing DiMeras continues to grow. Here's your day's video preview for the week of December 8 to 12, 25. Is EJ moving in on his brother's ex? It certainly looks that way when he leans in for a kiss with Kat. EJ, of course, recently recalled that Kat was the woman who read to him daily while he was recovering at a medical facility in Italy years ago, and it suddenly drew him to her. Kat's memories of the time, however, remain hazy. Abe places a call to his son. "Theo?" he asks aloud. But Theo isn't on the other end of the line. It turns out Theo has met the same fate as a few other DiMeras. He's been abducted and tossed into the family crypt. "What's going on?" asks Theo when he regains consciousness and finds himself locked up beside Tony, Kristen, and Chad. While pacing in the DiMera mansion, Susan is surprised by someone familiar who enters the living room via the secret door. "Dr. Rolfe!" gasps Susan. "What in tarnation are you doing here?" The scientist greets her with a smile. Jeremy exchanges words with Maggie at Horton Square. "I thought you had my back," he tells her. Maggie simply stares back at him. "It turns out you think the worst of me, just like everybody else," adds a disappointed Jeremy. Back at the crypt, the door creaks open, and another DiMera is delivered onto the scene. He's dropped face down on the floor with a black hood covering his head. Could it be EJ? From the looks of the suit he's wearing, it certainly looks like him. The House of DiMera is making a resurgence on Days of Our Lives. Here's the soap's latest comings and goings casting news. Find out if any stars from yesteryear are returning to the show, if any newcomers are joining the soap in contract, recurring, or day player roles, and if any of your favorite actors are exiting the Peacock drama. As the mysterious crypt storyline unfolds, a long-missing DiMera is returning to the fold. Peter Blake. Kristen's brother, who was last on the canvas 27 years ago when he escaped from prison, will be played by One Life to Live alum Dan Gauthier. The character was originated by Jason Brooks, who portrayed Peter from 1993 to 1998. Gauthier is set to debut later this month. Here's a look back at the troubled character. Theo Penglis is back as Tony DiMera. Look for the character and his kidnapped siblings, Billy Flynn's Chad and Hyduck's Kristen, to make a bone-chilling discovery on Tuesday, December 9th. Stacey Hyduck does double duty this week. She appears as Susan Banks on Tuesday, December 9th. Look for her alter ego to catch EJ and Kat in a compromising position. Richard Wharton clocks back in as Dr. Wilhelm Rolfe. The diabolical mastermind interacts with Hyduck's Susan. Rachel Boyd gets more screen time as Sophia Choi. The troubled teen continues to stir things up at Bayview on Wednesday, December 10th. Check out some facts about the actress. Alice Halsey returns as Rachel Black this week. She shares scenes with Boyd's Sophia on Wednesday, December 10th. Here is your Days of Our Lives sneak peek video for the week of December 8th, 25. The DiMera Crypt is becoming quite the happening place. Tony started out all alone, but then Kristen mysteriously joined him. A few days later, Chad, Billy Flynn, showed up and told Kristen all about Rachel's pumpkin catapult incident, and now the siblings have another visitor. Their nephew, Theo. Clearly, whoever is hunting DiMeras is not just looking for siblings. Abe is on the phone with Theo when he hears something go wrong, so we are sure the ex-cop will be on the case. Will the current police commissioner think he stood her up? Before the end of the week, another DiMera arrives in the crypt. Who can it be, and who is targeting, or rather hunting, the DiMeras? In the DiMera living room, Kat continues her plan to get information to bring down EJ. She gives him a mysterious drug that first puts him to sleep, but then we see them nearly kissing on the couch. What kind of drug did Kat actually give EJ? Susan is also making herself at home in the mansion and is surprised when she sees Dr. Rolfe walk into the living room via the tunnels. She didn't think he was in town and wants to know what the mad scientist might be up to. We know EJ brought him to town, but surely this has nothing to do with the mess in the crypt. Why would EJ hunt his own family members? Jeremy Horton is surprised when Maggie doesn't seem as supportive of him as he expected. In fact, he seems downright angry at her, which unnerves Maggie. Jeremy claims to be a changed man. After all, he is a fifth-grade teacher, and elementary school teachers need to have patience. But he has shown he is anything but when alone. And now, Maggie is seeing that Jeremy may still be a problem. Days of Our Lives invited Beth Chamberlain when she was in between her tenures on Guiding Light, as Beth Raines Spaulding, to visit Salem and play the short-term role of Nancy Trent. Now Chamberlain is sharing news of a health battle with cancer, hoping to inspire and educate her followers who may be facing a similar challenge. "So I need to tell you something that I haven't shared publicly," Chamberlain began. "And even my family, except for my husband and son, Didn't know until today. In mid-October, I was diagnosed with early-stage endometrial cancer, and on November 21st, I had to have a complete hysterectomy. Today, my final pathology report came back, continued Chamberlain. Stage 1A, no spread, no further treatment necessary. I'm lucky. I know that some of you might be thinking, well, why didn't you say anything? Well, first, I didn't want people worrying about me. I also didn't want a lot of noise in my ear as I was trying to process this. And honestly, I didn't want a lot of people imagining the worst for me. I just wanted to imagine the best for me. I know what you might also be thinking, which is, wait a minute, you're all about clean eating and exercise, so you still end up with cancer. The actress, who post-GL has appeared on Law & Order SVU, along with the late Treat Williams, and has become a fitness enthusiast and kettlebell instructor, shared. Yeah, that's what I thought. Even my surgeon said, you know, you're not the typical profile for this type of cancer. Well, it turns out cancer is not a respecter of profiles, Chamberlain says. So here I am today, no makeup, Chamberlain shared in her first update on Instagram. It's just a little hard to wrap my head around the fact that the morning of my surgery, I could have jumped out of bed and done 25 burpees, and 2 weeks post, I'm just tired. At 2 weeks, my appetite still isn't back, the actress continued. I had big plans for a high-protein recovery diet to help me heal faster, and I just still can't quite stomach all of that, so I'm hoping that I will get back to it next week. But hey, this is what rebuilding looks like. Chamberlain is receiving support from her daytime pals, including actress Crystal Chappell, who played Carly Manning on Days of Our Lives, and Olivia Spencer on GL. Resilient Beth, the commander, what an inspiration, Chappell posted. Thank you for your openness to share your story. It will help so many women. Rest, my friend. Days of Our Lives exposes Brady Black got quite the shock this last week when he learned Marlena Evans kept a devastating secret from him about his daughter, Rachel Black. Brady is reeling, and he's furious at Marlena. And their family has been ripped apart. We're going to talk about how bad things are about to get between Brady and Marlena now that Rachel's in Bayview and Brady knows Marlena has been lying to his face for quite a while. For a very long time, pretty much his entire life, Brady has been very close to his stepmom, Marlena. Their love for John Black was one of many family ties they had in common that made their relationship so strong. But now Brady is disgusted with Marlena, and he moved out. It seems like he is at a breaking point and couldn't take anymore. We all know that Brady's life has already been crazy this year. His son Tate Black thought he got Sophia Choi pregnant, and then it turned out Aaron Green was the father. Tate was devastated, thinking he wasn't going to meet his baby, and then found out it wasn't even his baby, which was a secondary shock. So, Brady's been there throughout Tate's year-long ordeal, and it took a toll on both of them. Brady's had his hands very full this year with his daughter Rachel. She is so much like her mom, Kristen DiMera, rotten to the core and ruthless when it comes to getting what she wants. Like Kristen, Rachel never stops. She successfully chased away every woman Brady dated, hoping against hope that he and Kristen would reconcile. When it got really bad, Brady and Kristen put Rachel in therapy after she helped kidnap Ava Vitale. Sadly, the therapist hasn't made much progress with Rachel. Remember, there was that open CPS file on her because of all the mischief and troublemaking she's in. More recently, this troubled kid found an old article about Sarah Horton and the big Mackenzie/Rachel baby swap. Rachel learned that Sarah had kidnapped her. Plus, Rachel also found out online that Sarah had a pistachio allergy. After Rachel saw Brady and Sarah hug, she decided to do a bad thing. Rachel plopped some pistachio ice cream into Sarah's sundae at the pub, knowing that the doc was deathly allergic and that the stunt could kill her. But before Sarah started to eat the ice cream, Rachel was asking about the kidnapping, and she found out she had a very bad read on Sarah and that she actually really loves her. So, Rachel tried to stop her, but it was too late. Thankfully, Sarah survived. But let's face it, that kid is a scary little psycho. At that point, Rachel was already so much scarier than Brady even knew, because Marlena, Kristen, and EJ DiMera were sitting on the biggest secret. When Sarah started wheezing as the nuts brought on anaphylactic shock, that's what triggered Rachel's memory, and she recalled shooting her uncle EJ. At the hospital, Rachel confessed the staggering truth to Brady. She shot EJ, and it wasn't Kristen. Brady ran and told his sister Belle Black all the stuff his kiddo did, including the shooting, and she was just as shocked about Rachel. They talked about how they needed to spare Marlena the stress and not tell her about Rachel because Marlena just had pacemaker surgery. But then she figured out that Brady and Belle were hiding something on Days of Our Lives. Brady got the biggest shock because he admitted she's known for a while that Rachel shot EJ and that Kristen took the fall to protect their daughter. Marlena felt justified because she thought it was best for Rachel's memories to return organically. But Brady doesn't see keeping the secret from him as the best thing. He understands the whole Rachel memory thing, but not them lying to him. He now understands that Kristen was protecting Rachel, and he may regret advocating for Kristen to get the maximum sentence when she wasn't guilty. But in the end, I think what Brady feels most of all is betrayed by Marlena, who is essentially his mom. EJ lying to Brady, that's expected. That's on brand. But Marlena and Kristen are a whole other matter. Now Rachel's in Bayview, and Brady feels like maybe he could have stopped it from getting this far if somebody had just looped him in. Rachel has no idea right now that her dad, Brady, is furious with her grandma, Marlena. In fact, Rachel doesn't even know that Marlena already knew she shot EJ. To say that Brady is mad is an understatement. Marlena told Leo Stark that she realizes she royally messed up. To top it all off, Brady decided to pack up and move out of Marlena's townhouse ASAP. When Brady told his AA sponsor, Maggie Horton Kyriakis, about the whole situation, she told Brady, "Come over here. Come stay at the Kyriakis mansion." Brady is Victor's grandson after all, and it is the family home. So when Marlena comes home from the hospital, her house is going to be pretty empty except for her and Belle. No Brady, no Rachel, and no Tate since he lives in the dorms at Salem University. Of course, he's about to flunk out, but then he'll probably be over at Maggie's mansion as well. As it stands, it may take something big to get Brady to forgive Marlena. We know that Rachel is going to stay in Bayview for an extended period, and we could see her teaming up with Psycho Sophia. There's no telling what they would do in that case. They could escape or kidnap Little T from Johnny DeMera and Chanel Dupree. You'd like to think Rachel would stay put and get the help she needs, but that's not really in her nature. Right now, Brady already blames Marlena for Rachel being in the mental ward, and the longer she's there, the more Brady may snap at Marlena. The really sad thing is that Brady and Marlena had the closest stepmother-son relationship for his entire life, pretty much. She helped raise Brady after his mom, Isabella Toscano, died of cancer when he was just a baby. And now with John gone, Marlena's already feeling alone, and now she has lost Rachel and Brady. I don't think Tate will necessarily turn his back on her, but he will probably stick closer to Brady and Rachel. Of course, Belle would do anything for her mom, and Julie Williams and Maggie and Marlena's friends will be there for her as well, and Leo. But given her medical issues and her ongoing grief, having Brady so enraged at her could be really, really hard on Marlena. Somebody surprising might swoop in and smooth things over between Brady and Marlena, though. Once Kristen's out of the crypt and exonerated for EJ's shooting, I think she could diffuse the tension and the animosity between them. If you recall, it was Kristen who begged Marlena and EJ not to tell anybody that Rachel pulled the trigger and shot EJ. Kristen was very insistent, specifically that she didn't want Brady to know. She didn't want him to look at Rachel any differently. Since Kristen sacrificed her freedom to protect Rachel, maybe Brady will listen to her and get past his anger and see that nobody was trying to hurt him. They were trying to protect Rachel. They were honestly trying to protect Brady too. Hopefully, he won't stay mad at Marlena for too long. But for right now, their family has been ripped apart, and I just hope her heart doesn't wind up completely broken. We all know John Black would not want this estrangement between Brady and Marlena. So maybe the Black family gets a Christmas miracle of love and healing. Days of Our Lives fans will love this twist. Raven Bowens admitted she once aimed for another soap entirely before landing in Salem. Her honest confession adds drama, charm, and a little chaos to the story behind her road to Days of Our Lives. Raven Bowens dropped a surprising bomb during her sit-down with Maurice Benard. She revealed that Days of Our Lives was never the plan. In fact, she had dreamed of joining General Hospital long before Salem ever called her name. During the chat, Raven shared how she auditioned for the role of Trina Robinson back when the part was still open. She remembered feeling excited but unsure, especially when she realized the age they wanted didn't match her type. Still, she pushed through the pressure and gave the audition everything she had. Raven said she admired GH's casting team from day one. She spoke warmly about Mark Teschner and explained how meeting Frank Valentini felt like a huge milestone. Even though the role slipped away, she felt grateful for the experience and kept her hopes high. Raven's acting coach played a funny role in all this. She flooded Raven with soap opera digest issues and pushed her to study every storyline. Raven believed that preparation meant GH was destined to be her home. The ironic part? That same acting coach wasn't even a GH viewer at first. One day, she caught a Sunnylicious promo, and everything changed. That ad pulled her into Port Charles, and Raven joked that she indirectly helped create a brand new GH fan. The universe was hinting, pushing, and teasing Raven that General Hospital might be her future. But soaps love a twist, and Raven's story delivered a big one. Months passed. The General Hospital opportunity faded. Raven stayed focused, trained harder, and worked to keep her confidence alive. Then a call came that changed everything. She was asked to step into the role of Chanel Dupree on Days of Our Lives. At first, Raven thought the message was a mistake. She had auditioned before and assumed nothing came from it. But fate had a different plan. She landed Chanel and replaced Precious Way in 2021, and that moment officially tied her to Salem. Raven said she always felt she belonged on a soap. She just didn't know which one. Turns out, Days of Our Lives was the show waiting for her all along. Raven calls this journey proof that rejection can be redirection. She didn't get GH, she didn't get Trina, but she got something that fit her perfectly. Chanel became her breakout, her comfort zone, and her place to shine. Her message was clear. Actors face tough moments, roles come and go, but the right story finds you when you're ready. That belief now defines Raven's career, and fans can see how confidently she owns Chanel today. Raven Bowen's confession adds juicy layers to her Days of Our Lives journey. She chased Port Charles first, but ended up thriving in Salem instead. Her story proves fate loves drama, especially in daytime. For more fun soap twists, stay tuned to Soap Opera Daily. In a powerful new interview about Days of Our Lives, Deidre Hall opens up about Marlena's heartbreaking future without John. She reflects on deep love, painful loss, and the slow healing that follows. Her honesty sets the stage for Marlena's next emotional chapter on Days of Our Lives. Deidre Hall admits that Marlena's world still revolves around John's memory. She shares how Marlena loved John with her entire soul, and how the loss shook every part of her life. She believes Marlena needs space to understand who she is without that unwavering support. Hall explains that grief never moves in straight lines. Marlena will continue to feel John's presence in every decision she makes. The character must learn to balance sorrow with the desire to build a new life. According to Hall, this journey will unfold slowly and with emotional honesty. Hall feels that Marlena's story must honor her long history with John. Their relationship shaped her for decades. Hall insists that writers will respect that beautiful bond as they guide Marlena toward the future. She believes the audience deserves emotional truth, not rushed storytelling. Marlena's next chapter will focus on healing, growth, and acceptance. Hall notes that Marlena Poo will lean on her family as she rebuilds her strength. She hints that fans should expect meaningful moments rather than quick twists. The goal is to show how love endures even after loss. When asked about new romance, Hall surprised fans with a hopeful answer. She believes Marlena's heart is strong enough to love again. In fact, she wants Marlena to find comfort and connection when the time feels right. She stresses that new love would never replace John, but could help Marlena rediscover joy. Hall trusts the Days of Our Lives team to handle this shift with great care. She feels confident the writers understand the emotional weight of giving Marlena a new partner. Hall says chemistry and magic must guide this story. Without that spark, the romance would not feel real. Hall emphasizes that John will always remain Marlena's soulmate. She explains that any new partner must respect that history. Marlena would carry John's love with her as she steps into a new chapter. Hall wants this balance to feel natural and heartfelt. The actress believes the audience can support Marlena's growth, as long as the show preserves the memory of John. She says viewers grew with this legendary couple. Their bond shaped years of storytelling. Future love must pay tribute to everything John and Marlena created together. Deidre Hall's thoughtful interview offers a tender look at Marlena's painful yet hopeful future on Days of Our Lives. She hints at grief, healing, and the possibility of love again, all while keeping John's memory alive. Stay with Soap Opera Daily for more heartfelt updates and emotional insights. Days of Our Lives spoilers for Monday, December 8th reveal that Jada's date night with Theo is interrupted, and more. Read on for Soap Opera News' full breakdown of what's coming up. Looks like Theo and Jada are going on more dates, and this might actually be turning into something. But, as always, plans don't always go as planned. This time, Jada's date night with the new CEO of Demera Enterprises gets interrupted. Danger, maybe? Could Theo somehow be in the mix? We know he's set to join the growing group in the family crypt, but when exactly that'll happen? Well, that's anyone's guess. Meanwhile, Gabby and Philip are starting to get a little uneasy. Things seemed good for Philip lately, at least. That's what we've seen. And Gabby? She just got her Gabby chic back, so you'd think all's well. But clearly, something's got them worried. What is it? Elsewhere, Kat has questions for EJ. And we know anything about EJ. He's relentless. The guy doesn't give up. So whatever Kat's asking, it's going to be intense. Spoilers for December 8th also tease Paulina stepping in to comfort Abe. What's wrong? Could it have something to do with Theo? Has something happened with his son that pulls Paulina into the mix? And then there's Chad, Kristen, and Tony, locked in debates about escape options. Desperate times call for desperate measures, right? But will their desperation actually get them out of the crypt? Or deeper in? Only time will tell. So do you think Theo is about to go missing? Sound off in the comments and don't miss more Duel spoilers coming soon. Don't forget, new episodes stream weekdays exclusively on Peacock. Days spoilers for Deck 8 reveal that Chad, Tony, and Kristen debate escape options, and more. Soap Opera News has the latest soap opera comings and goings for the week of December 8th. This week's news includes some casting news for Days of Our Lives, major casting news for Beyond the Gates, and more. We have all the details on who's in and who's out from your favorite daytime dramas. With so many shakeups, this week promises a lot of drama for fans. Be sure to check back next week for the latest updates on all the comings and goings from your favorite soaps. That's it for your soap opera comings and goings for the week of December 8th. Catch all 5 soaps weekdays on their respective networks and streaming platforms. Next week on Days of Our Lives, spoilers reveal that doors open, secrets slip, and one surprise appearance turns everything upside down. Here's what's coming up on Days from December 8 to 12. Coming up on Days of Our Lives, EJ and Kat find themselves getting a little too close for comfort, close enough that they almost kiss. It's one of those moments that feels harmless until suddenly, it isn't. Meanwhile, Abe is on a phone call, and Theo seems to be on the other end, but something goes wrong, leaving Abe clearly shaken. What happened to his son? Whatever it is, it's not good. Theo then turns up missing, and he becomes the latest person to join the growing group trapped in the Demera family crypt. When he arrives, he immediately wants answers. The others can fill him in on what's been happening, but the bigger question is whether any of them can put their heads together and figure out who's behind this twisted trap. Back at the Demera mansion, Susan is stunned when she spots Dr. Rolfe wandering around. Naturally, she wants to know exactly what he's doing there. And honestly, who wouldn't? The man's never up to anything simple. Over at the town square, Jeremy Horton is feeling pretty hurt, and he's not afraid to say it. He tells Maggie he thought she had his back, but now it seems like she's thinking the worst of him, just like everyone else. Is she really, though? Or is this just a misunderstanding? And to close out the promo, we get one final chilling shot. A man lying on the ground in a gray suit inside the Dimera crypt. The big question, who is it? Don't miss a moment of the drama during the week of December 8-12 on Days of Our Lives. Check out the video below. According to the latest promo video, Theo joins the growing group in the Dimera family crypt. These scenes are expected to air the week of December 8-12 on Days of Our Lives. Days of Our Lives spoilers, December 8-12. Next week's episodes tease that the Dimera captives make a bone-chilling discovery, and so much more. Here's a day-by-day breakdown of the spoilers for next week. And that's a wrap on your Days of Our Lives spoilers for the week of December 8-12. So what do you think? Who kidnaps the Dimeras? The show is available to stream weekdays on Peacock. Be sure to check it out. Xander opens up to Marlena, Rafe and Jada search for answers, and more. Gabby and Theo sit down at the Brady pub. He tells her Gabby Chic is officially divested from Dimera and is officially hers. Gabby thanks him for his kindness. Theo thinks Tony made a mistake, but he knows he must honor his promise. She will never return to Dimera, but thinks it's possible for them to collaborate someday. EJ arrives to pick up a milkshake for Thomas, and Gabby giggles. She thinks he is using it as a bribe to keep him from saying bad things about Chad. EJ says he is simply being the caring uncle he always is. EJ is done sniping when Theo says he hasn't been able to get in touch with Chad either. Afterwards, Theo asks what the deal is with Gabby and his uncle. Gabby admits she hated EJ for a while, but now almost feels sorry for him as he is so screwed up. She admits they have a complicated history, but is more concerned about the custody hearing as she doesn't think Chad should lose his kids. Gabby thinks they should switch to celebratory drinks, and Theo agrees, saying he was supposed to do trivia night with Jada. Gabby fills him in on her former engagement to Rafe and how EJ screwed it all up. Theo is stunned to learn all EJ did to Rafe. He wonders how his uncle isn't in prison, and Gabby explains all the ins and outs. Gabby encourages Theo to watch his back and remember his uncle never does anything out of the goodness of his heart. Gabby brings up Tony being missing and thinks EJ is responsible. She wonders if EJ pushed Tony out of the way so he could manipulate Theo and resume control of Dimera Enterprises. Theo doesn't think so, but promises to be careful. Afterwards, Theo asks Gabby to stay for trivia, leading them to discuss Philip. He says Philip clearly doesn't know about Gabby's deception and agrees to keep quiet. Just then, Abe calls and Theo walks outside. Kat is in Horton Square on the phone with Rafe. She catches him up on EJ and says she intends to get the truth out of him one way or another. Afterwards, she comes face to face with Jennifer. Kat keeps Jennifer from walking away and says Chad is a good man who loves his children. Further, their relationship is over and she will stay far away from him. Jennifer narrows her eyes and says she doesn't trust Chad, which means she trusts her even less. She goes on to say Chad's feelings for her aren't real, but only residuals spawning from her cruel turn as fake Abigail. Jennifer never believed the Clyde Weston of it all and thinks Kat is a vile predator. With that, she sashays away. Afterwards, Kat calls Andrew to get a rush prescription filled. The judge arrives and EJ tells her that he doesn't know where Chad is and is quite concerned. She asks Jack and Jennifer when they were last in contact, and Thomas says he was invited to Thanksgiving but didn't show. Jack chimes in, saying they received a text after dinner the day before. EJ requests a continuance so he can look into his brother's disappearance. Justin and EJ arrive for the hearing. Justin is worried how the entire custody hearing will impact the family. EJ agrees, and they discuss the possibility of mediation. Jennifer and Jack arrive with Thomas in tow. EJ explains what's going to happen and hands Thomas his milkshake. Jennifer walks over and asks where Chad is, but EJ has no clue. Justin and Jack chat. Justin thinks Adrian would hate this hearing and how it's tearing their families apart. Surprisingly, Jennifer decides it's okay to wait, and the judge makes a date for a week from the day. Afterwards, Thomas worries something really has happened to his father. Jennifer and Jack return with Thomas, who is still worried about his father. He heads upstairs, and Jack says he knows something is wrong. Jennifer agrees and is determined to get the custody arrangement completed ASAP. She thinks being around a Dimera is dangerous. Jack calls JJ to report Chad's disappearance. Jennifer chimes in. They are then going to take Charlotte and Thomas and take them far, far away. Chad wakes up in the Dimera crypt with Tony and Kristen by his side. They say they've all been kidnapped, but they don't know by whom. Tony thinks someone is clearly targeting Dimera siblings, but the why of it all isn't clear. Chad fills Kristen and Tony in on Jennifer's custody petition. He was giving the kids some space when he was kidnapped. He asks what day it is and freaks out when he realizes it's the day of his hearing. Chad looks for his phone and is frantic he is going to lose his children. Kristen and Tony both think Chad not showing up to court could lead folks to search for him and eventually find them. Kat arrives back at the Dimera mansion and EJ pours dark liquor. As they sip, EJ tells her Chad didn't show up for the hearing, but the judge issued a continuance. Kat now absolutely knows Chad is missing. She now wonders if Chad was the person who actually sent EJ the text. They brainstorm about why he might be missing, but neither have a clue. Tony and Kristen ask about their loved ones. Kristen erupts when she learns Rachel has gone off the rails. Kat notes how tired EJ looks and then downs her drink. When he rises to get her another, she grabs a vial from her purse and doses EJ's drink. He returns and they continue to chat about Chad and Tony. EJ says he's going to check on dinner, but Kat stops him. Just then, he passes out.